This is Dr. Gregory Jenkins opening up the show here in downtown Newhall, and I'm with my co-host Alicia Dukov.
Hi.
And she is a doctoral student in psychology at one of the major universities in Los Angeles.
Well, I'm just really honored I'm being brought in as the co-host now. We've decided the name of our show is going to be Doc and my last name, Dukov. Doc and Dukov.
Doc and Dukov. I like the way it sounds.
Yeah, it's got a ring to it, huh?
Yeah, I think it does. I think it's verbal. It's global.
Yeah. Doc and Dukov. Yeah, so I guess it'll be like Doc and Dukov talk ... on whatever subject we're going to be talking about. And what's really cool is we've got like a different range of topics between us, because not only is there a generational dynamic that can totally be played with here, but also you're on the medical side and I'm on the psychological side.
Yeah. And you're very psychological. Very.
But I don't think you're too medical, though. I think you've got...
I got it all?
Yeah, you do. You're kind of a well-rounded guy.
I am. Something, especially in the belly right now. Big lunch, you know.
Oh, yeah, right?
But, you know, I think what we need to also announce is what's really exciting is that we are now on Facebook Live.
Wow.
And if you just go to the Facebook page for the hospital, for the college here, I mean, for the, dang it.
COC?
Not though, for the station.
Oh, okay. KHTS 1220.
Facebook Live, and we're here. So I guess, are we the first people?
That's so exciting.
No, dang it.
Oh, well, let's just pretend we are.
Okay, we're the very first time we've done this ourselves.
We're on Facebook Live. Oh my God, hello everybody. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, and so this is a really exciting show today to be on live Facebook, because we're going to talk about the physiology of flirting. It's the physiological side of why we are attracted to the people that we are attracted to, what attracts us to each other as human beings.
Right. Well, you know, I wanted to tell you earlier, but I didn't, but that blue eyeliner you have on makes your smile look really nice.
Oh, see, he's flirting.
Just practicing.
Isn't he cute? You don't need practice. Yeah, well, I think this is going to be a cool topic for both of us to address.
What color is that eyeliner?
It's actually not blue. It's they don't make it anymore, unfortunately. It's called forest green.
Oh, looks bluish from here.
Yeah, my mom turned me onto it years ago.
The lights.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I feel like when if women are listening out there, when you're accentuating your best characteristics of your face, you obviously want to go with what you feel the most empowered by. And so it's usually the eyes or the lips. And just finding that right tone is really, it's not for the man. It's not for the other person. It's for the woman. You feel good. You feel sexy and powerful. So, physiologically on that side, you're charging your pheromones in the right direction.
Right. Well, you're talking about the face, and there actually was a dentist in Los Angeles at UCLA that did a study on people's faces and tried to find out what makes people look beautiful. Because, beautiful people look the same from 500 years ago to now.
And beauty is a very subjective term.
Yeah, and what's, Queen Sheba and a whole bunch of people. Cleopatra. They all look great. Way back.
Way before Botox.
Yeah, and what he found is he measured the face and he found that everything has to be lined up exactly right.
Right.
And it's called the Golden Triangle.
Oh.
And not the kind that's in Asia, the kind that's here. And they would measure between your pupils and down to your tip of your nose, and there was a certain ratio, what he called the golden ratio, and the number is 1.2, and like even your teeth, the tooth next to it should be 1.2% smaller. So you get those sometimes before you get surgery if you want to be more beautiful.
Right.
Yes.
Well, and I think that's what plastic surgeons have made a fortune on, is achieving that golden triangle for women and men who want that symmetry in their face. And there have been research studies done for years about symmetry, just exactly what you're talking about. And there's this one particular topic, how they computer generated somebody's face to make it identical on either side. And then they put that person's face, like their natural face, up on a canvas on a street. And next to that real face, they put the computer generated face of that person that had been paralleled, equally with symmetry. And they asked the question, who is more attractive? And so they said that these are identical twins, but they're a little bit different. Which twin do you find more attractive? And it was something like 79% of the people that had commented said that the twin on the right, the one that had the computer-generated symmetrical face, was the more attractive of the two.
The computer-generated face, so everything's perfect then, that one.
Right, the symmetrical one. And furthermore, they did another study, so now we're going to move a little bit away from symmetry, which is a component of what attracts us to people. Another component is personality. So there was a research article that came out in 2015, and I'm sure there were many before that, but this is the one that I had read, about they took 60 research participants and they gave them pictures of people that were smiling and pictures of people that were not smiling, and asked them which ones they found more attractive. And an overwhelming percentage chose the smiling picture over the non-smiling picture of people. It was like an 80-something percent, like 95.5% on the bell curve chose these people that were smiling. So I think personality and being kind and giving off that positive vibe, that positive energy is very attractive to people on a very subliminal level. They don't even realize why they're attracted to somebody. But if you have that spark in your eye, if you have that smile, and you're just like a light energy, a light kind of character, I think it attracts more people.
Well, most models that do print work, you look at those prints, like that's ads you get in the paper. Most all of them have a smile. Teeth smile. Now the models that do the runways, they don't often make any face at all because they're so beautiful as they are. They don't need to smile.
Well, and then you see models with no smile on. They're walking down the runway like they haven't had anything to eat in 10 years. Yeah,
that's right.
They look like they're about to vomit.
They had Diet Coke for breakfast.
Yesterday.
Yeah, that's right. And a bunch of cigarettes.
So I pulled up an article from the HuffPost that had been written last year about the biology of sexual attraction. Would you like to hear some points?
I want to hear this.
Yeah, so this is a really great article, again, from the HuffPost from 2015 last year.
I got to tell you before we get much further, I flirted with 4 people today while in the office to practice to see how it works.
Just to practice, huh?
Yeah, we're going to do a study eventually. Yeah.
Okay, so you already have some research participants in mind.
Well, you two here, and then
Justin, you're being called in.
Yeah, Carl Goldman, and then one other person.
I think that's actually a cool research to do, and maybe see if there's a difference in generations, a difference in age groups,
right.
with the physiology of flirting and what that means.
I also flirted at the office today with two of the 3 employees, just to practice, to make sure that's how you do it.
I think they're probably used to that with you.
Probably not.
No?
I'm all serious at work.
But you know what? You're that guy about town. Everybody knows you. You're like a really social person. You're actually an unusual kind of MD, aren't you? Because you also have that right brain in you that loves to perform, and you're in social events and gatherings all the time.
Right, that's me.
Put your fingers in all those pies, and you're a really friendly guy.
That's right.
So, would you consider yourself a flirt?
No.
No?
At work, I never flirt with patients.
Well, no, just in general.
No, I don't think so.
I just think you're a friendly guy.
I'm friendly. That's what it is.
And I do think there's a difference between flirting and being friendly. And oftentimes I get, I'm not naive, but I'm very friendly and I'm very open. And so I had to be careful at some point in my early 20s in college, mainly, not giving off the wrong impression to somebody that I wasn't necessarily interested in romantically, because when I'm talking to somebody, I am engaged with them. I'm looking into their eyes. I'm interested in what they have to say. That can be taken in the way of, oh gosh, that girl's into me. I'm going to, go for it. But
we got to keep looking at the camera because we forgot today's the first day.
Okay, well, I'm going to move my seat this way then.
Okay.
So I think these are all really cool things to think about on a different level besides what happens in our minds about flirting. You go to a bar, you're sitting there, you're looking at the guy or the girl that you're interested in, and you want to make that move. But what if we were to tell you today that the majority of what happens with attraction is beyond what you do physically? and verbally with that person. There's a whole level of communication happening underneath the surface. And that is the physiological part of what we're talking about today. Pheromones.
You know how cars and a lot of electronic things now, like with electricity, all the lights have to go off automatically.
Right.
Well, the same thing happens in our body when it comes to emotions. We go to a situation and we have a feeling about it. Our body parts are producing hormones, and they're important in flirting.
Right, and they're called pheromones. So they're these scent-bearing chemicals. Yeah, you want to spell it?
Pheromones.
Round 2 for the spelling bee for Dr. Jenkins. Yeah. He's moved on.
Can you use it in a sentence?
I would like to pheromone my way through this.
Not even close.
No? Okay. They're scent-bearing chemicals that secrete in our sweat and through our bodily fluids, and they're known to attract mates in the animal kingdom. So animals actually choose their mates by the scent of that mate, that potential mate walking by. So we are actually not that far out of the jungle. We're also animals. And our baser instincts are actually what happens first before we actually look at that guy or that girl across from us at the bar and go, ooh, they're hot. That's like a secondary thing, because your pheromones have already actually sought out, they've tracked out the entire room, they've scanned the entire room, your pheromones, and they have actually sought out and zeroed in on a potential mate at that bar.
Wow. It's amazing how, you can get in a room like you're talking about, all of us, one person stands out.
Yes, that's it.
That one person stands out because of science.
Oh, it's always about science, right?
Right.
And I think in this time that we're in right now, which is a really exciting era, science and the nature of the human mind, the human being, are really coming closer than ever, on a spiritual level, on a psychological level, and the study of the human mind being a science now, a recognized science, has really helped bridge that gap. So we're going to be able to understand not only why we're screwed up, but we're going to be able to understand who we are on a very basic, scientific, fundamental physiological level, and I think that's going to help a lot.
And we can give more details if we were on a satellite show, but here we have to be a little more careful.
Yeah. So I'm not going to let it loose too much.
Good.
But the let it loose portion of my work that I do is all about coming home to your true self, knowing who you are on every level. So physically, mentally, and spiritually, it's mind, body, spirit. So I really love the fact that we have a show right now that we can use as a platform to bring in the mind with the body and add in some spirituality there as well. I mean, why not? We're all a full entity.
Everybody in the room is nodding their head right now.
Yeah. I think people dig it these days. I think people are ready for more than just the science of the body, the science of the mind, what we know in these old books. I think we're ready for more, and so that's what we're going to be doing in this show, is seeking that out.
That's right.
So let me talk to you about pheromones.
Okay.
What are they exactly?
Pheromones are sexual attraction compounds.
Okay.
And there's all different ones.
I have actually the name of the compounds. They're
androstenedione.
Yes. And androstenol and androstenone.
Androstenone. Yeah, and those and some of those ones, and you.
He went to medical school.
You manufacture those some more, and you come out with just andro. And andro's a hormone that bodybuilders like.
Okay.
Also.
Is there a component of androgyny to these chemicals then? Because where does the word androgyny come from? It's the same root word, andro.
The andro.
Okay, but so from the same root word, if androgyny means no gender, these chemicals don't necessarily have a gender then, do they? So like the chemicals in Justin being a male and the chemicals in me being a female, are they androgynous?
I
never had that question.
Well, you have the opposite. You have most of the hormones I have, but there's a couple that are different.
Okay, so there is a male-female bonding that occurs on a very chemical level then.
It's chemical, definitely chemical.
Okay. We're going to have a future show about Tantra where I'm going to tell you why nothing is just male or female, and we're all both. But for today, we're going to stick with the chemical side of things, and I think it's time for us to start getting bilingual in the art of the communication that happens chemically in our bodies.
And this is a really important topic because 50% of the world is single. So you're going to have to learn how to talk to people and meet people if you want to go beyond being single.
Right. Well, I think we all choose mates and don't realize why we're choosing these people. That's part of what, we want to enlighten ourselves with. It's not just about who you think is cute. It's not just who you think is going to make a lot of money and provide for you. All of these are components. But on a very basic level, if we can start to understand why we're attracted to people chemically, it's just adding another piece to the puzzle in us understanding ourselves as human beings. And the more you understand yourself, the more you can then go out and find somebody that I can't say is also going to understand you, but you are going to be happier in your life and more home in yourself, so that even if you are single, you're not lonely. You're not feeling, there's a big difference between alone and lonely. And so we don't want to just try to meet people together and be like, hey, let's match you up. I want to make you happy so you can find somebody. It's like, I just want to make you happy. I want you to come home to yourself and know who you are. This is one component of that. We're starting at the most basic level, which is chemistry today. So I think this is going to be a fun show.
What's interesting also is that the attraction, this flirting, has changed over the centuries. As I was telling you earlier that in old time, caveman time, cavewoman time, the women would choose a man who's big and strong so he could provide, so he could bring home chicken or turkey or whatever they caught in those days. Now it's different. They're not so much worried about that.
Well, what makes you think that?
Because I have no proof on this, but I think then couples bond up for different reasons than they used to when they were just wanted to eat.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, our survival modes, thankfully, in this first world that we live in today, are taken care of, on some level. We're not living in a third world country where we have to worry about where our food's coming from right now.
That's for sure, yeah.
Although I'm not talking to everybody in the country here, but we do live in the first world. We're lucky enough to not have to worry predominantly about our survival mode. So what kind of flirting techniques have come out of that?
I think, the flirting has evolved to the point where you have to decide whether you want to share some genetic material. It comes down to, eventually, that's the final part of flirting, is when physical contact is allowed and made. And so I think that is what we do now in flirting.
I think we've always chosen people as potential mates for genetic reasons on a subconscious level. And I'm going to go into that as well, because that's part of what I wanted to talk about today, why we choose certain mates. And this goes way back to the anthropological studies done from like caveman days of us and how we're not that far out of the jungle.
It was hard in the old days because there wasn't really good paper, copiers, executive assistants, or anything like that. But
you had to do it all yourself. The wildebeest.
I think we're gonna have a break here pretty soon, aren't we? One more minute or so. Okay. So I think I was going to say also that in our brain there's a thing called the limbic system, LIMBIC, and that has a lot to do with fear and pleasure. And we'll talk about that some when we get right back.
Right.
But we're going to take a break now, myself and Alicia Dukov, and we'll be right back. Thank you.